Okay, guys, here is a game that you should all be very familiar with. Because who didn't play this when they were a kid? Maybe some of you didn't. And that's quite alright, because I'm here to show you what the game's all about, and maybe tell you a bit of the story while I play it. So we got starter code, we're not going to enter a code, we're just going to start right into it. It's a very simple game, but a very fun game. So here it's asking me where do I want to place my frigate class. This is arguably your most important ship. It's a 2x2 ship. I can hit B to switch it back and forth, and I need to find a spot to put it. So let's just slap it on down right there. Now we got our destroyer. They're getting a little bit bigger. Oh, I don't know. Let's slap this one right there. We get our cruiser, just going up in ranks of all the different ships. I'm gonna put this one right there. And we got our battleship, Iowa class. Let's plop him right there. It's asking, are we ready? Is this what we want? I'm gonna say yes. Alright, so now we have our missiles. So we need to figure out where the opponent placed his. We can hit select, and we can have our frigate shoot, our destroyer shoot, our cruiser shoot, or our battleship. And we lose these shots after our ships are lost. So naturally, it's something that you probably want to use up the big ones first, so that you don't lose them. And it's good for finding stuff, so I don't know, let's just start right in the middle. It'll play a little cutscene. It'll splash just water if you splash just water, but if you happen to hit a ship, it'll actually show an impact on the ship. Now, more than likely, you're going to get unlucky as you're doing this, and that's the computer kind of fidgeting around, and sure enough, he did find me. So let's keep going through this. We've got our frigate, our destroyer, and our cruiser. We've already used our battleship, so that's fine. I don't know. Let's place this probably in like the most likely spot. So let's try something down here. Again, you're just trying to process of elimination, find your opponent's ships. So you can see there, you got a couple of hits. So I know there's something along the bottom. And meanwhile, he's trying to figure out what direction is that ship going. He doesn't know yet. Well, I know this one's going to be a hit, or at least highly likely to be. So let's just fire a single missile. Sure enough, it's a hit. So we know this is one of the bigger ships. Alright, let's keep going. I'm going to shoot out here. Gonna miss. That tells me that's his cruiser. So now he's probably should fire his cruiser missile, but the computer's an idiot. So he's just going to lose out on that one because here I sunk his cruiser. And that's the name of the game. You basically just go around and see if you can find where the enemies got their stuff at. Now, since the computer's kind of figured out what direction to go here, he's going to keep going at that battleship and it's going to be toast soon. Let's shoot our frigate's shot. Let's do something like that, maybe. Alright, we got a couple more hits. That was actually a really good barrage because that gave away a couple of his ships. So, basically process of elimination, I'm just going to shoot in between these guys. And there I got his destroyer. So I know that was his destroyer, and now I just need to figure out what that other one is. And he sunk my battleship. Something you'll hear a lot if you ever watch the commercials for this game back when it came out. So I'll just kind of keep playing and talking since you kind of know the thing, and eventually I'll use my frigate stuff. Which, he just used there because he's worried he's gonna lose all of his ships. This game, Battleship, as it's called, it's something that I remember playing as a board game type of game. Something that I usually played with family around the holidays. I would come back from college, or if I wasn't in college, I would just basically be there waiting for this moment where you put up the Christmas tree, you get together for Thanksgiving, you talk about what kind of pies you're gonna make, and you basically go and figure out, okay, what kind of a holiday do we want? What kind of food do we want to make? Who's stopping by? Maybe it's cousins, aunts, uncles. Maybe it's just a small family. But you're basically just trying to plan out how your holidays are going to go. And for me, that ended up being making the food. My grandma would bake some homemade bread. Everybody would get together for, putting all the turkey and Thanksgiving fixings together. Someone would make the stuffing, someone would make the sides. The kitchen would be busy. We'd all get together, we'd have this great meal, and then we'd sit around and we'd do something fun together. Sometimes it was just a movie, sometimes it was sitting around talking, catching up if we hadn't seen each other in a while, especially when I was off in college. But in high school, I remember it being more about what game does everyone want to sit down and play? And this type of game here is one of those games that we might choose. Not this one specifically. This NES game is a game that I ended up getting after the fact. No, I'm talking the physical board game, where you're actually moving the pieces on the board, you're sitting there thinking, you're pondering, you're using your deductive reasoning or what little you have of it when you're a kid to try and figure out, all right, I know my dad's Battleship is out there somewhere. Like, I might be looking at the board like this thinking, all right, what side is it on? Is he going this way or is he tight against the edge? I'm going to try tight against the edge. Alright, he's tight against the edge. I know where he's at now. I've got him on the ropes. Or maybe it's your brother, or maybe it's your uncle. Like every time it's kind of different with your experience and who you're actually playing with. But this was kind of the name of the game. Like, you'd be sitting there thinking about how your holiday is gonna go. And laughing together, cooking together, playing a game together. That was kind of the name of the game. And I like this NES game for that because it brings back some of that spirit of the holidays. Like here, it has some cool music to listen to. It has this really nice feeling of how do I want to place my ship. You have that special shot that you can use, which I guess I was wrong. You can use it regardless whether your ship dies or not. But maybe that's just the computer that gets an edge on you. I'm not really sure. But the point being is, it gives you all of this stuff. It lets you know what your accuracy is. It lets you know how many times it took you to hit. It lets you know how good you did. And it gives you a way to experience this friendly back and forth that you might have had at family gatherings or out with friends, or when you were coming together for the holidays, just to kind of experience this deeper feeling of connection, this deeper feeling of belonging, this other way where you can experience the holidays for what they were, what they maybe should have been, the better holidays. Everyone's laughing, they're having good food. Maybe it's Christmas time and they're talking about the gifts that they're getting. And maybe this game is a gift that you got. You're just like, oh, I can't wait to try it out. So you open it up, you get some friends or some family members to come over and try it with you, and you just kind of have this fun time playing it back and forth. It's a simple enough game. It doesn't have anything crazy going on with it. Like here we have a green color outline, but it still has that feel of where do I want to place my stuff? I guess if I had any kind of a gripe about it, I would just say, well, what if I want to place my battleship first? You know, it doesn't really let me do that. I have to kind of go sequentially up. So, you know, it's in that sense kind of something where, you know, it's not exactly ideal. But I don't know. There's something slightly charming about it for me. So I like this game. And I think it's a game worth playing if you liked Battleship as a kid too. I mean, I never had a shot like this when I was playing Battleship. It was always 1-for-1, just like this, whenever I played it. There were no fancier advantages or anything like that, but I do have to admit that, you know, special shots like this do make the game go by a little bit faster. So I do think it's a good thing. It's a good adaptation, and these little cutscenes that you get, I mean, this makes the NES all the more lively. Like, there's really nothing wrong with this kind of interaction. I think it's a great thing. I also like how it kind of shows where the enemy's cursor is on the board as they're moving around. You get kind of tense thinking, oh no, don't shoot my stuff. Oh no, you're gonna get really close. You're bouncing all around it. I wonder if the computer's saying that right now. Where's the most tense spot where I can stick this? There. Sometimes it's fun to mess around with the games too. I mean, that was all part of what holidays were for me. I mean, I'm getting really unlucky this time. I should use my 2 biggest shots and didn't hit anything. Yeah, look at him. He just clobbered me with it. At least he didn't, you know, hit my cruiser over there, but... Well, he hit my battleship and he hit my frigates, so that doesn't make me happy. We're gonna need to use our frigate shot, because I still haven't fully determined if, you know, that's what makes or breaks you being able to use him if he hits your ship. So, at least I'm starting to make my own mark on him now. But it's a complete game of chance at the end of the day. And that's all part of what the game is. At this point, we're just kind of fishing for shots, by the way. And like I said, he's got his really well hidden. I don't know what the best strategy for Battleship is. I guess if any of you guys watching out there are Battleship gurus and have a certain way that you just like to do your ship placement, you can let me know. I suppose there might be guides online too, or maybe people have crunched the numbers and determined, oh yeah, if you're going to play Battleship, this is the best placement for all of your stuff. Statistically speaking, this is kind of where, you know, you're going to be able to avoid the opponent and you're going to be able to do the most damage. I'm sure there's got to be things out there with that, but I'm really not sure about it, what any of that is. To me, I'm just picking randomly. Because that's what I did when I was a kid. I don't know if any of you guys ever actually played the the actual board game Battleship, but I remember the little pegs that everything would sit on. How there were little holes in the board, and you kind of had to line up the pegs, and the ship would slide right in. I remember that kind of hard, plastic, tactile sensation on my fingers. It was actually mildly satisfying. It's friggin' terrifying every time he keeps bobbing around my stuff like that, I keep thinking, oh great, he's gonna hit me again. This guy put his ships almost right next to one another. This is kind of a dangerous thing to do because I could have hit multiple in a line. And I am just getting very unlucky. But I guess he's starting to get unlucky now too. You know, I gotta say, I like how the hits light up after you get them all like this, and it just shows hit, so you kind of know where things are later. And I got his frigate, one of the hardest things to find. I might not be out of the game here yet, because I've lost my frigate, but he's lost his as well. But he has a lot more larger shots than I do. Now, the nice thing that I like doing here is I'm kind of fishing for his battleship. I'm like, well, where could it be? It could be over here somewhere. But I would pretty much have to hit it like right here. Yep, so that tells me, nope, it's not on that side. It's gotta be those 5 spots. So you can use a little bit of dynamic reasoning that I know his battleship's not over here anywhere. It's gotta be over here at this point. So let's try for this spot. And sure enough, we hit something. That could be his battleship. I kind of hope it's not, because that's probably going to lead to me winning the game. So let's see if it's going this way. Nope. And there isn't really a lot to say about the nature of the game anymore. Like, this is pretty much what Battleship is. It just brings me all of these feelings of being relaxed with your family. That's my memory. But it could be, like I said, friends, or, you know, more distant relatives, or neighbors, even for that matter. But being together for the holidays, sitting down, pulling out a board game, playing the board game, laughing, planning, kind of scheming a little bit to try and figure out what you can do to pull ahead, to get one up on your family. For me, it was always my dad. I played this when I was really young, like in elementary school, and I remember I always thought it was the coolest thing when, oh, Dad, I got your battleship. You still haven't got mine yet. That's the biggest piece, and, you know, it was just friendly banter back and forth. But it was fun, and it was engaging. And it left me with this feeling of, this is really cool. I'm doing something really fun. Except now I'm in a situation where I need his destroyer, and it's a length of 3. Well, you can try and knock 2 birds out with 1 stone by hitting like here. I really don't know where he would put this thing. I would separate it a little bit more, but at this point I'm on a timer because I have a bigger ship than him. And I really hope I can find his. But it might not happen as quickly as I want. He might beat me here. Especially if he targets on that thing. Alright. Let's try down here. And this is the tense moment of the game. This is the who's gonna win. I don't know if he has any special weapons left, but I don't think I do. Nope. Pushing select and nothing happens. At this point, we're just trying to kind of cross out the unknown. We've got a lot over here still. I mean, if I were him, I'd maybe put it like here. Oh, yes. We might have this in the bag. As long as he doesn't hit ours. See, that's just a stupid move. Why would he shoot it over there? He knows it has to be a 4 length. Alright. We're like pretty much gonna win at this point, even if he targets my ship now, unless he has a special weapon and hits it multiple times. And he still doesn't know where it is. We're gonna win with our cruiser out. Did you touch the outer edge here? Yeah, you did. Destroyer sunk. And that's the name of the game. That's Battleship. So, it's going to keep going through a couple levels here. It's going to keep doing more of the same. You've got your special shots. You've got your 4 boats. How are you going to place them? Vertical, horizontal? They can all be next to each other. Are they going to be around the outside, all conglomerate in the middle? And because this game has special shots, I would recommend spreading it out so that if someone does use a special shot, hopefully they don't hit 2 of your ships at the same time. You could always go for, well, I'm just going to throw them in all the corners. That's not a bad idea, but I would also maybe be someone that would check the corners. So, and again, you don't want to make a pattern out of it. If I found 3 of your ships, and I know that 3 of them are in corners, all in a different corner, naturally I'm just going to look at the other corner, assuming you just made a pattern out of it. So there's some different strategy that you can implement with this game, but regardless, it's really fun. And it's something that I think kind of brings people together, is sitting down playing a board game for the holidays. When someone asks me, what do you think of when you think of the holiday season? I think of sitting down with my family, maybe my friends, maybe my relatives, my neighbors, and just having a good time, making a meal, catching up, and then as the day goes on, sitting down and having some fun with the game. Something that you can physically play as a tabletop. And maybe it's not necessarily a board game. Maybe it's a card game. But something where you're physically interacting face to face with the people who you went to go see for the holidays. And that's part of what I think makes the holidays entertaining, is that moment of mutual entertainment, mutual fun, excitement, thrill, happiness, and great food to go with it.